Good morning. Kind of want to give an opportunity for those of you that like to get an early start on Project 2 to do that. So and get thinking about it and just kind of following along with a few things. I'm still reserving the right. I may have some additional things that I want you guys to do on your Project 1. And there's still a number of you that have yet to turn in a finished product there. So please, if you have not received a grade, in the last drop box or in the last part of the grade thing, please, get a hold of me and let's make sure that your stuff is done or not, and so that we can get it completed. But anyhow, Project 2 is going to be a little bit of a research project. I'm going to want you to come up with and write a paper. It's going to be limited to 5 pages, no more than 5 pages of a publicly traded company. And this is a finance class, so I obviously want the emphasis to be put on that. And if you come, to Project 2, and these aren't in the best of order, but if you look at the introduction first, click on that and open it up, and it'll give you, some stuff obviously that you can take a look at. Okay, the first thing I want y'all to do, and if I don't have a Dropbox set up for it, I will. Yeah, I don't think the 2nd of March is Sunday, no. So I'm going to have to change the date on that. But yeah, probably be the 6th of March that I might like you guys to get this part done, which would be this coming up Sunday. But this part shouldn't take much, okay? I want you to choose a company that you will be analyzing, and then let's just change that. And find the ticker symbol for that company. Okay, and I give you kind of some examples, and I throw some websites up here that would allow you to do that. And then I ask you to also, give me a little bit of information about that. Okay, it sometimes is very, very easy. Okay, and it kind of depends on your company that you've chosen, and whether or not you can find the information easily. Oops, hang on, I gotta get this saved here someplace around here. Yeah, okay, Project 2 intro, let's do that. Okay, and I'll try to. So and I'll give you some examples. So yesterday I got looking around. I remembered one company that a student had done several years ago. It was called the Rue 21, and I just remembered it was about the time they were moving the one in up at the mall, and maybe that's why the student chose that. And so I got looking. I said, Rue 21 tick groups, and this is probably the easiest way to get started. Ticker symbol, okay. But the problem that I found with Rue 21, its former ticker symbol was RUE, okay? But when I would type in RUE into one of the research places that I like to use and that I've provided you here, right? Yahoo Finance, Morningstar, Reuters, different places like that. When I typed it in, I wasn't getting the company, and so I had to do a little more research, and I kind of hit Rue 21, and I hit the news. Sometimes that gives me a little better information, right? 7 years ago, and it took me a while. Okay, and I'm not even sure I'm going to find it here, but I found it yesterday. Was that Rue 21 was bought out by a private equity firm. So Rue 21 is no longer, and if I'd have looked at even the Wikipedia and the article, it might have had that. Okay, so it no longer trades. It's no longer traded. It's not a publicly traded stock, so I can't use it for this project. Okay. On the other hand, and I thought this was kind of interesting, I thought, well, let's go up to the mall, and what if you put in Herberger's? And I found this one to be really kind of funky, because Herberger's is not actually itself. Oh, shoot. Yeah, let's do this. Doggone it. Is not actually itself publicly traded, but Herberger's is a part of Bon Ton Stores. okay? And they've got several, right? And so this came up, and I'm using Bing, but you'd probably get something similar if you used Google, and its symbol is this BONT, okay? BONT is the symbol, and if I clicked on just the NASDAQ, which NASDAQ is an okay source because this is a NASDAQ, the company Pennsylvania, la da 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 da. They currently operate 270 stores in 26 states under the Bonton, Bergner's, Boston Store, Carson's, Elder, Bierman, Herberger's, and Yonkers nameplates. Okay, so that obviously has Herberger's in there. So I was able to find something very, very easy. Now, here's my admonition for this thing is to pick something relatively simple. Okay, and what do I mean by something that's relatively simple? Something that has maybe a single line of business. Okay, that's fine. Retail would be perfect. Even if they sell shoes and sweaters. Okay, they're a retailer, and that's fine. The more difficult ones are you get into like General Electric. Oh gosh, don't do General Electric, please. Okay, it's a huge conglomerate. It's got so many different types of businesses. You couldn't write less than a 5-page paper on any one of their different businesses, let alone on the entire thing. And so, choose something that's relatively simple. Okay, just think of look around. North 40, sorry, they're not publicly traded. Okay, common ones, and even though it's a huge company, common ones that I've had in the past are like Nike. A lot of students like to do Nike. Okay, and a lot of them like to do Under Armour, and a lot of them like to do different things like that. One that kind of flies under the radar, Columbia Sportswear ticker. Look at that, it brings it right up there. So it kind of competes against Nike and Under Armour, yet it kind of flies under the radar, and yet there it is, right? And then it kind of gives you some other ones over here, right? So if you searched for that, the North Face. The North Face, that one might be a little bit different because the actual name of the corporation is something that's different. So the North Face ticker symbol, I believe it's actually VMware or something like that. And maybe I'm wrong. TNFI. Huh. TNFI, is that right? That could be. Yeah, it was acquired by okay, so that kind of gets me there. It was a little bit more difficult, but VFC or whatever VFC stands for, and I'm not 100% sure. Okay, but let's just type that in. So you might be able to come right to your search engine. Oh gosh, VF Corp. That's what the VFC stands for, is VF Corp, right? Okay, man, but it's not the kind of stuff that I wanted over here. So what would be a better place? And that's what I provide you with here, right? Different places here. So if I hit my control, for example, and open up this Morningstar one, and I like Morningstar, I get as good information from it as I do anything. Okay, I think, and it may vary as we go along. Some of the other sites, or you may have more familiarity with Yahoo or Google or something, and that's fine. Feel free to use those. Okay, but here's VF Corp. Okay, there you go. Now, the questions that I asked, okay, are, by the way, now you can't use VF Corp, sorry, but tell me the company's last closing price. Well, it hasn't closed yet today, so I might have to wait until today, but the open price was $65.48, which would have been yesterday's closing price probably. Okay, so I could say that was yesterday's closing price, and that's fine. Okay, give me the date and what it is. Tell me the company's PE ratio. Okay, forward PE, and please list it as that, as forward PE, and we'll talk about those differences as we go along. And then tell me the company's previous year's earnings per share. Okay, so I just want you to, this one's not so readily available. Maybe I gotta scroll down a little bit. Okay, financials, earnings per share, 2015, 12, so end of the year, $2.85. So I had to scroll down, okay? And that's what I want you for this assignment is just to kind of get you going and then figure out, the company, some of the basics of it are available here. Okay, the things I'm going to start looking at, I can find in some very basic stuff here, right? Okay, annual, look at the sales increases. Yeah, not too bad, but fairly slow. Operating income, kind of similar. Okay, looks like they had a fall off in last year for whatever reason. Net income, again, a little fall off. Okay, but a little improvement this year. So, those are some things that you ought to start looking at. We'll get into more detail, and when we do that, we'll come up and look at some of these things. Okay, and so click around. And again, whichever site you're on, look at things like the financials. It's going to give us some more detailed information. Okay. The other thing that you can do is take a look and see, because what you're really going to want to eventually do, it's always good to see who their competitors are. It does have Hanes, Michael Kors. I don't think Michael Kors would be a competitor there. Under Armour certainly would. Columbia Sportswear certainly would. Nike would, I think, for those different as a competitor. Okay, then you come all the way down here to the bottom, right? Okay, and filings for the VFC. I might just go ahead and hit more and see what comes up here. But what you're going to want to start looking at, because what you're going to have to use for your ultimately for your report, it and probably some other stuff, is going to be the annual statement. Okay, and so I come down, annual report. Ooh, okay, they haven't issued. In fact, it looks like probably in the next day or two. And so we're going to be right in between on some of these. But this is last year's annual report, right? Okay. And it looks, that was on 3/3, okay, today's 3/1, and so it looks like we'll probably end up having, an annual report out here in the next day or two. But I can open up that annual report right there. Okay. I may prefer, there's other ways I can probably find this annual report too, that I could get it in a PDF format, and that's probably what I would prefer. And we're a little early for that. We'll talk about that next time, but it certainly doesn't hurt to take a look. I don't know why it says format up here, but it doesn't tell me that I can change the format of that and get it in a PDF, and I thought I probably would be able to. So okay, but if you want to mess around, probably one of the easiest ways to get an annual report on something like this is go right to the company's website and or type it in. Okay, let's just go see if I can do that. Let's go to Bing again. I got VFC. Let's just type in annual report. Here's annual reports, VF Corp. Boom. I can click on that. It takes me kind of to their main page, right? But then I can come here. SEC filings, annual reports. It's going to be different for every company. I wish I could tell you that these are all going to look the same and be exactly the same. They're not. So it takes a little bit of work. Okay. So that's all you have to do. So all I need for assignment 1 for project 2 is the company's ticker symbol. Okay. Okay, the company's last closing price. So, how the price changes from day to day. If we go back and look at that VF, it may have changed already. It probably has from the last time we looked at it, at least by maybe a few pennies. Okay, the company's PE ratio, which I showed you where to, and then the company's earnings per share. Okay. Man, it didn't. Oh, here we go. Okay. So statement of changes, yeah, I'm looking for the annual report, right? Man, it's got all kinds of stuff on here, right? But again, they haven't come out with the annual report yet for this year. It's going to be really soon, but I can click on annual reports and it'll take me here to the last one probably. And yeah, 3/19 of 15. So here I can get it in a PDF format. Okay, and I'm going to need last year's probably to do some comparisons and whatnot. So when this year's comes out, great. Okay, but I'm probably going to want to have, this last year's annual report as well. And I'd just open it up and save it. Okay, PDF's not going to take up much room. Save it on your thumb drive or something and have it so that you can refer to it. They're fairly lengthy, but you'll find that there's going to be main portions of it that we're going to concentrate on. Okay, that's going to be it for today. My voice is about gone anyhow, and I don't want to drag this out any longer. I think I've given you the info that you probably need to get going with assignment 1 for project 2. So good luck, and let me know if you have any problems. In fact, if you have any problems finding a ticker symbol for a particular company, let me know, and I'll be happy to give you a hand. And it could be that it's not publicly traded. Again, I give you an example. North 40, that's a kind of a big business here in Havre, and there's several of them around, but it's definitely not publicly traded. Gun companies have been popular in the past. Well, Winchester and Remington, sorry, neither one is publicly traded. Okay, there are some gun companies that are publicly traded, but those two, the big ones, are not. Okay, so you might find that the company that you want to do is not publicly traded, and if it's not publicly traded, you're not going to have access to the information that you need to do the reports. So we got to have a publicly traded company that you choose. So, all right, signing off.